Today I will breathe life in a dormant castle. The family tree of the residents of this property starts in the early 1700s with a high official of the First French Empire, ruled by Napoleon Bonaparte. From the four walls of this glorious building, advice was given to the Parisian parliament during times of revolution. Once a dignified place in its heyday has now been left to the elements for 6 years or 4. It's a shame seeing abundant beauty just withering away and all mastercrafted works just turning to dust. Today we will immerse ourselves in the life of an important French family that was once prominent in politics and resided inside of the sublime landmark. Enjoy a tour as I venture my way inside one of our best deserted finds to date and show you all his museum pieces that are still on display, solely left for eternity to take over. I am so excited to show you another intriguing place today in France. Today I'm showcasing a millionaire's estate. This is a huge abandoned castle, but literally it is enormous. And all of the contents of the former inhabitants of this French chateau are still left behind. I could not find out much about the history, but this place must have been abandoned for 6 years now already, because the former owner passed away. He was a very wealthy man, and there are 2 reasons for that. Firstly, he was a doctor and he earned lots of money. But secondly, he also had many wine farms and fields across this area. As you can see, I'm standing now in sort of a porch area. There are a lot of antlers and pieces of skulls and taxidermy on top of the wall. It's already very special, but that's not the only thing. These people even had their private indoor pool, a little fitness area and a sauna, and that is right over there. So have a look at this. just unbelievable. This is going to be a magnificent property. You can see the bars of green water still left inside of the pool, the last rests. Nature is also slowly making its way inside over there. And yeah, the tiles of the pool are slowly getting reclaimed by moss. Also a beautiful statue over there. Could have been a fountain once. And if we walk across over here, there is even still a fitness machine. It's also covered in a layer of dust and dirt, so you can definitely tell that this is also not used for a severe amount of time already. But yeah, let me tell you that this is just only the start of a very, very epic documentary. Lastly, oh, by the way, look how the paint is also peeling off here. Wonderful decay. Lastly, there is also a tiny sauna area here. I think it's better if you go first because it's very tiny. We have a look at their own little private sauna. This was a shower cabin. And yeah, with that having said, let's head back right over to the actual castle right now. We're gonna walk through that door and yeah, just be amazed and be prepared to be blown away by this incredible property. Let's go. And believe it or not, but the gates and the doors inside this place are just open. The entrance is very easy. So strange. Doors have never been locked. Well, welcome in. Yeah, I guess I can call this the basement level, although it has not been built under the ground. This is actually the floor right under the main floor. Already see some presence of mold on the ceilings. And then let's firstly go inside of this corridor over here. You might already notice that there are some portraits on the walls. Well, let me tell you that this castle is greatly decorated and everywhere are many portraits on the wall. It's a little sort of carriage. Could have been for a little child maybe one day, just to transport them through the garden or do some groceries with the little one. What's actually over here? Okay, those are stairs going up. Over here they had a tiny toilet part, like I can see. Alright, and a very random sitting corner over here with some seats. Look at this huge wooden statue over there too. A wonderful French Art Deco lamp on the ceiling. I guess this over here was just the electricity in the engine room. Nothing very spectacular, just a boiler. And then if I walk through here, we actually make our way to a wonderful kitchen. Wow! Have a look at the amount of chinaware everywhere on the ceilings. So what I assume is that this generous family had a great amount of servants and that this would have actually been the servants' kitchen, where these servants would actually prepare the meals for the last owners. That's a phenomenon we often see and encounter in these castles. Well, apparently one vase has fallen down. It doesn't look really old, to be honest. And you are definitely gonna notice the passage of time the longer we are inside of this place and the more floors you will see. Because some floors, they have plenty of antiques and valuables worth millions of dollars, whereas other floors have more modern furniture. So by that you can definitely tell that it has been lived in not very, very long ago. Like I said, I think half a decade. Oh, there are so many keys of the property inside of here. Unbelievable. Wow. That one was very stuck, but like I can see there are some wooden spoons inside. Over here are some more plates. Even more cutlery here. I guess this was the part where they would do the dishes. Okay, time to show you the next parts of this corridor and this ground floor. Wow, this was huge storage. There is a giant painting over here of a forest. But there is also still plenty of wine stored there. I mean, on all these shelves. I'm almost certain that there must be some very expensive bottles in between them of very old wines. They even used these stairs because otherwise they could not reach the upper compartments. Maybe some of the bottles is even still the wine they produce themselves. Over here is a pretty big burst gauge. And mostly pans, pots, some glasses. Yeah, just a very, very big storage. There's even a candle holder in the shape of an antler. There are so many keys again here on the ground. Well, you can tell by the amount of keys we found how huge this property is, how many doors there are in total too. Another storage over here. I guess this storage was mostly used for the maintenance of this property. Wow, I really like this lamp, by the way. It's very unique. Well, and over here you can already capture a glimpse of the elegant staircase going up. Some beautiful stainless glass. Wow. Over here was actually an upright piano. But we've already checked it out, and all of the keys which are laying on top are not the right ones to actually open this piano and show you the other parts. That's a bummer, but there's definitely more to follow, which will make up for it. Wow. Have a look at this beautiful painting of a woman. It's from 1928. Almost a century ago. Again, a very detailed lamp on top. And then there is this other door. And this was the part where they mostly did their laundry, apparently. Still some paintings over here. Could have been family ancestors. Also still some of their clothes and sheets are laying on the ground here. Look at the wonderful carved bust over there of Jesus Christ. A sewing box. Even still some heads over there. And another washing area right over here. It's beautiful how you can see the natural sunlight just falling through the stained glass and windows, reflecting on the wall over here. And that is also where we are heading right now. It's time to walk up these stairs and show you just unbelievable floor. Honestly, you are going to be blown away by its beauty. You probably are not even gonna believe the amount of valuables and history that is still completely well preserved in this historical landmark. Wow. It's already so beautiful. And it's only the little start. These were religious angel statues. Some priests of black mold over there. Like I mentioned in the start of this video, there are so many paintings and ornaments on the walls. You literally do not know where to start in this place and what to point out next. It's always so hard to believe how these properties just end up in this state of disrepair and neglectance. In this case, the reason is actually a family dispute going on, and they cannot meet an agreement about who gets what. Well, let's go inside the first room on this floor. And it's already an absolutely beautiful one. It is entirely untouched, pristine and frozen in time. A wonderful chandelier on top of there. Wow, look at this. They had a huge collection of these kind of African stone busts and statues. I've not seen this many times before. Definitely not the great amount of them. This is wood, by the way, but those were definitely carved of stone. That one is empty. Still a part of an oil lamp here. All these wonderful religious statues. There is priceless art inside of this place. I cannot mention it enough times. Now have a look at this room from this perspective. I'm trying to figure out what this room once served for, but it seemed to me that this was more of a meeting room, and then more a meeting room for business, where the former owner of the castle would sit here, invited guests would sit on that side respectively. There is even this hand pistol, and it's a real one for sure, on top. I do not know if it's loaded, but I'm definitely also not gonna check that out, of course. I'm just gonna leave it where it is. Oh, I think this was the case of these old postal stamps they made. Yeah, it definitely was. Also an inkblot. Game of Domino. There are also so many books inside the shelves. These people were definitely well studied and came from very great classes. I'm so captivated and intrigued by the amazing and well-preserved history and items that are still left inside of this multi-million-dollar castle. I also really like the mural, by the way. Wonderful artwork and painting on top. And then over here is the fireplace. The wonderful golden net in front. And also still the family coat of arms. Right next to this room there was this little side part. This was actually one of the castle towers. Look at that giant tapestry on the wall. Its size is humongous. And so are the details. Incredible. There's again so many statues, mostly religious ones. Television, and look at this. That's extraordinary. I cannot imagine that I've seen something similar to this. It was like a tiny pillar column. I guess maybe some vases or like one of those statues or a bust used to stand on top of it one day. This was definitely a religious room. And maybe if these people were very Roman Catholic, this would have been a room where they would pray. And then, in more detail, this incredible tapestry. Wow. It's also telling the story of a castle. In the background you can see the castle. It looks like this was in kind of the jungle or something. With this wizard-like man standing here with his stick. It's always such a dream to walk through properties like this and just wander around. It's really like time stood still and you're traveling back in time. Well, you've seen plenty of books and reading material in the cabinet of the last room, but this room is even holding more of them. This was like their library, their own private library room. Look at this lamp. Wonderful. It's so unique. I've never seen a piece even similar to this before. There is again a giant tapestry on the wall. Well, those books were definitely just for their leisure time, but some of them are also more cultural books, and these books definitely look like the more older ones were mostly dictionaries and encyclopedias. Okay, over here is a very old, looks like a diploma. Yeah, diploma from the second class in 1980. Okay, interesting. So, some of the past inhabitants was not only a doctor, but also a philosopher. Well, maybe this was the room of that philosopher. Oh, the first old photos over here. This could have been the wealthy couple of this grand place. Where is a man visible in his younger days, smoking a pipe? He looks happy. His face tells a lot of stories, nothing to worry about. Life's going good. It was another tiny cabinet with some paperwork. I see a date on that paper from 1991. Some wonderful nature stone. Then let's have a look on top of the massive wooden table. This is very strange. Bill Gates, the emperor of Microsoft, and they have burned this little booklet inside of this pen. Very strange. Wow. Look at this device. Was this like a microscope? I think so, but a very old one. Incredible. It's unbelievable what you can find inside of these places. And one other very, very funny story is that I actually discovered this castle by accident. I did not even know its position. That's the most crazy thing of all, people. Look over here, plenty of keys. Guess that's nothing. Whoa. Look at this clock. Over here are not even the Roman numbers, but this is something different. I don't know what it exactly has to do with, but if anybody knows... Oh wait, I know it, by the way. You see? Those are the months. So the 3rd of the month up to and including the 31st of the month. Never seen that. This is like one of those hats when you go on a wild safari or something. Even books of Napoleon, the former emperor of France, especially during war times. So many books. Over here is another diploma. And this was a diploma in medicine, a doctor of medicine. It's dated from 1960. And the man's name actually was... That must have been the former owner of this castle. Where is another one? Another diploma, doctor in medicine. And then the room right in front of me. It is almost like I just entered a very exclusive art exhibition in a museum. Definitely with the glass column in the middle. Where did I just step into? A multi-million-dollar property. Well, let me tell you guys that this is gonna be a long video, and I'm not even gonna regret it because this place is definitely worth it, and I will have to show it to you in the most detailed perspective I can. Also, notice the height of these doors. For some reason, religion was very, very essential. An essential part of the life of the people that once lived there. Whoa, look at the sparrows. That statue looks quite sinister. Doesn't have a face anymore. Actually, this door was one day the main door of the castle. And they would walk in, and this would have been the main hallway one day. A statue of Maria and Jesus inside this glass column. What would be inside of this chest? Look how huge this key is. That is insane. I cannot even open it. Wait, now I open it. Or not. I'm so not used to keys like this. Doesn't seem I can open it. Wow. What a wonderful religious painting. And again, it is so well detailed. Well, then it's time to show you my most favorite room inside this place. Wow. Have a look at this. Absolutely mesmerizing. So many antique items. It will just never get old and boring to me. Wow. Look at this cabinet. So many tiny doors you could open. Over here too, also many doors. Look at these baby blue colors of the walls. Apparently this used to be a cover of a painting, but the actual painting is taken out. Maybe one of the only items that was saved. Look at these stuffed chairs. So unique. And I guess they are definitely very, very comfortable. And then the fireplace. With so many statues on top again. Even some wonderful clocks. And this wonderful mirror. With an incredibly detailed cover again. Dang. Look at the glass chandelier. Over here in the middle, there is still a game of checkers. So imagine they would just sit around on these chairs playing a casual game of checkers inside this castle one day. Wonderful secretary desk. Again, there is plenty of keys, and I think most of them were actually to open the many compartments I just showed of the other cabinet. There was so much to point out, and it definitely hurts me to see there are so many artwork just going to waste. Wow. Look at this. All these tiny drinking glasses with the golden details on them. Was definitely not expecting that. That is so unique. There is so much luxurious, high-end furniture. Even look at this, like the screen, but also again an embroidered pattern in it. Some angels even. Apparently this is broken. And then have a look at this bust. Wow. It's just unbelievable. Also that glass ornament over there. Maybe it used to be a lamp one day. And as a clock lover, I just love this French grandfather clock. There was even paintings inside of them. And of course on its cover too. Joseph Gural, it is saying. I think it was definitely an exclusive piece bought in a local store, or maybe even exclusively made for them. Oh my gosh, I just noticed that here on the ground there is even a Louis Vuitton suitcase. Definitely from the older collection, but dang, that must be still very valuable. Made in France, Louis Vuitton. Very well-known designer brand for the people who don't know. I really hope the place does not get famous because I'm very afraid plenty of items would get stolen. But let's make our way to the next room right now. And this was their dining room. Their grand dining room. Wow. Just unbelievable. This is holding again a glass collection again. Wow. Unbelievable. Look how it's made. The rounded ceilings. Tiny set of some silver cutlery. This used to be the bowl where the dish was presented to them. And that one over there too. A huge chandelier again. Well, I cannot open up that one and it's gonna make a lot of noise. I have to be a little bit silent in this part because I don't know if there are still caretakers for this place. At least I don't hope. Wow. Look at the Chinaware. Some wonderful collections. My gosh. It's all perfectly matching each other. Again, there is a religious priest. Those are actually mirrors. And behind them was even more secret storage for glasses. Wow. What a miraculous painting. There is again a giant bust head. What a stately place. I cannot get my mind straight around it, and this is by far my most incredible exploration so far. Talking now in 2021. What an impressive portrait is this. Hand painted in a giant golden cover. This must have been a key person within the family branches. And I guess that those were the last photos of the last donor living here. The doctor, maybe also philosopher, and the landlord of many wine farms across this region. There used to be cutlery inside of here too, but has been taken out. And then guys, have a look. Gonna make our way to another little side part, and there are so many portraits on the walls. There are even some portraits of maritime style with ships and boats. So maybe that was also a topic of interest to the former residents. Wow. Have a look at this room. This is just unbelievable. There are portraits everywhere. This place is like walking in a museum. But instead of buying a ticket, you have everything completely to yourself. And you can just wander around and appreciate all the gems within. It's just unbelievable. Really unbelievable. I also really like that pot over there. And then there is this wonderful piece of French furniture, very exclusive chaise longue. Sort of a relaxing bench just to rest out. And then you would lay here and just, stare and dream about all these different paintings and portraits. In the corner, some walking canes, but that's not the only thing. There are even some ancient swords. My gosh. Real swords. Another one here. Unbelievable. We found guns, we found swords, we found highly valuable antique items. This is a top exploration. I'm just speechless. I'm now at a point where I have so much to say, but I also do not know what to say anymore, because I'm just so blown away by this place, and I can just not get my mind straight around everything that's left behind. Wonderful portrait over there again of a religious person. Those are the stairs going down to the basement level we first explored. And there is this other little side room over here. There are so many statues inside this place. There was even a game of Rummy Cup here, but then very old-fashioned. Wow! Have a look at this porcelain sink on the wall. Whoa! And even look at the crane. That is so special. I've never seen anything similar like this. I love how they painted it too. Also a beautiful chair, by the way. There is also still a coat rack with a fur coat hanging up. And apart from that, some boots still standing where they used to belong, and just stand where the people still live there. Wow. This even still looks like the cover of an LP. But I'm not going to take it off, because otherwise I'm afraid that this very unique statue will fall down. Overhead, there is a trunk coming outside of his mouth. And then on top, there is like this sort of warrior from the Roman times. A very strange move. He even has wings on his head and wings on his feet. And lastly, there is also another tiny door over here, and that was just a little toilet with a lot of mold inside, like you can tell. Well, the last room inside this floor is a kitchen. And you can tell that this kitchen was quite modern. Definitely still used until the last days when the castle was still inhabited. It's time to walk up the grand and impressive staircase. Please also notice these very unique tiles with the emblems on the ground. Well, some black mold on the walls again. So you can definitely tell that it's been neglected for a couple of years. There's even mold on a wonderful religious painting here. Dang. And again, the wonderful stained windows. My gosh. It's, yeah. I don't know any more words. It's unbelievable and just unreal to see something like this in real yourself. Look at this corridor. There are maybe even around 100 paintings and lists on the walls everywhere. This place is really like a museum. Well, we're just going inside the first room, and this was a bedroom. There was already this wonderful wooden French sleigh bed. Very unique lamp again with all these roses. Whoa! Look, the velvet inside, and this was like this old grooming kit. Over here, even still some very old labels of French wines. So you can clearly tell that they were involved in the wine business and industry. Well, the jewelry has been stolen, I guess. And over here we can again see the name of the man, Dr. I've never seen a toy horse or rocking horse like this, but this was just one where you could even just ride with. It had these pedals like a little bicycle with 3 tires. Even still the clothes are inside of the wardrobe. Paint is just all peeling off here in this corner. You can tell by all the dirt and the paint on the ground. An absolutely majestic mirror again. Well, and I believe this cabinet, yeah, has also still all their contents and clothes inside. And then attached to the bedroom was actually a very luxurious bathroom. Dang. The bathtub, and just look at all the tiles. Again, such a beautiful golden mirror. Now this is absolutely really cool. So this was a bedroom, but right next door is actually another bedroom. Have a look at this. And also have a look at the curtains. They are straight out of a fairy tale, like this was the room of a princess. I guess it was definitely the room of a very special person in the family. This room was built right above my favorite room I showed you on the previous floor. So many beautiful paintings. There's even this little secret door over here for an additional storage. Probably was like a walk-in closet one day. And over here was another one of these walk-in closets. Oh my. And still all the shoes, the ties, everything is still there. Unbelievable. And then lastly, I really want to point these chairs out in more detail because the paintwork on them is absolutely impressive. So beautiful. This place is definitely beyond words and is already the best castle exploration I did in this new year, 2021, and we keep on sharing the most beautiful gems with you all around the world. And then we make our way to another bedroom on this floor. Wow. Again, a typical wooden French sleigh bed. This one's definitely bigger than the other one, so I think the other one was actually from a child. There are so many coins on the secretary desk. They were actually the old currency of the Republic of France. Coin is from 1994. There are so many. What is this actually? Was this an instrument? Looks like a pipe or a horn. Some tiny keys inside of here. Were probably to open up all the different parts of the secretary desk. There's actually some severe presence of black mold, so I should definitely not stay exposed in this room too long. Whoa. This bedroom also has its own private bathroom again. Less majestic than the other one, but still very luxurious and spacious too. Plenty of the paint is just peeling off again. Then I want to check out what's inside the wardrobe. Oh, it actually wasn't a wardrobe. It was more like a cabinet. Some very special stones again. A pot. And some stuff stored in boxes. And then let's walk through the corridor of art. And just be amazed by all the splendid artwork that's displayed everywhere on the vicinity of the walls. Dang, that is a bronze statue over here. Well, before continuing, on my right hand side was actually another room. And this was a room where they listened to music, I believe. Because look at this. This was like a giant box symphony, it is saying. And over here they could actually play records. I've never seen something like this. I guess it is very valuable. Even still some records over here. Incredible painting. Definitely looks like an important person, a pioneer. But you can tell by the seas again, like I said, the passage of time is noticeably visible because this is more modern again. There was also this hanger of Louis Vuitton again. Man, these people had so much money and wealth. Where's a notebook with music notes on top of it. And over there is a book called Fantastica and it's about psychedelic drugs. So yeah, the person was definitely interested in medical topics. Also look over here, at this desk with the harp on the sides. Definitely shows their interest to music. That's probably where they use this room for. Such a grand marble fireplace again. That painting over there is even close to collapse. I hope it still stays like there as long as possible, until hopefully the family dispute is fixed and they will just restore all the priceless items within. There's another bedroom. Most of the beds are all sleigh beds inside this place, I noticed. Whoa, and look at the throne chair over here. Incredible. It's upholstered. Wow, I really like this one. Statuary laying on the bed. And I especially love the mirror. There is a dead bird over here, Chikes. But look over here. Some wonderful crystal stone and nature stone again. Definitely also something they collected. This room was again attached to a bathroom. I really love how all the rooms are different from each other, but you can still tell that they were in the same castle. And before leaving this room, have a look at this chair. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this was used to pray on. Well, and then let's go to the last bedroom on this floor. And there is a portrait that must be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Have a look. It's so huge in size. When I departed on this trip, I was never expecting to film a place beyond imagination like this one. Well, those shelves seem empty. There was another little wardrobe part to hang up some clothes. But you can clearly tell, again, there is so much black mold over here. They even carved out this little area with a secretary desk. Maybe they were doing some work over here, or maybe they were praying. I don't know. This time it's not a sleigh bed, by the way. Can I open it? Yes, I can. Oh, but there is nothing inside anymore. Apart from some clothes hooks. Whoa! Another Louis Vuitton suitcase, guys. Dang. I'm so amazed how this could never be stolen if the castle is just wide open to public, actually. Because we literally just walked in. And it's standing open at many sides. I tried to close as much windows as I could to protect this place from any further disintegration, just so you know. I hate to see these properties actually getting damaged by the force of nature. I mean, the decay is fascinating, but still, it hurts me to see how it just undergoes so much damage, and then it will never be fixed again because of too high renovation costs. Well, before making our way upstairs to the last floor, that is the attic, firstly I have to show you that room. It's not very much, by the way, but still I want to be as thorough as possible. These bulb ornaments we often see at the staircase of French chateaus in the more generous and marvelous buildings. So, okay, before I'm gonna open the door, what do you expect that is over there? I already know because I checked it before I started filming, but what do you think? Leave it down in the comment section right now, and then I'm gonna open the door. It's just a toilet, guys. Sorry for fooling you if you had high expectations, but yeah, just a toilet. Nothing very special. Because of the windows, I was first thinking that there maybe was like another tiny kitchen right behind it. But that was not the case. And now lastly, let's go to the attic of this marvelous abandoned castle that absolutely still keeps me speechless about. Dang. Well, it's kind of messy here. Stuff has been thrown around. A more modern record player again, some magazines and comic books. Tiny bathroom. Oh, what was this? I guess this was like another chill room or something. Don't know what this exactly was, but it's shining. There's even still a key card of the Hilton Hotel. Those are very expensive hotels to stay overnight. An old vintage Telefunken radio. Oh, and there is another bedroom here. It looks like this became the new home of plenty of pigeons. Just have a look at this. There are so many droppings of these pigeons right over here. Wow. Another wonderful antique French lamp. And also a beautifully carved wooden cabinet. Nothing inside anymore, apart from plenty of cobwebs. This must have been unopened for a very long time. Well, I'm gonna try to crawl over all the mess, because I think over there is like another relaxing room. Dang. There's so much glass. Wow. I've actually not scanned this area yet, so it's the first time I see it now. Also look at the ceiling panels. Some damage already. So there is definitely leakage damage occurring in this room. Some games of playing cards. There are even still some coins inside too. It's again the old French currency, and this coin is even from 1970. And it's the same case as the other room, which you saw on the other side. Here, over here was also a bedroom. And those could have been the bedrooms of the servants one day, because those people were mostly sleeping on the attic. There is a toilet again. And oh. This was like a room where they stored all their suitcases. I guess they must have loved traveling. We found the hotel car of the Hilton Hotel. Considering they were wealthy too, I guess they just lived a happy life and they just traveled the world. There's even still tags on the suitcase. Let's see what their destination was. Okay, this was from their son. His name was Benjamin. But there is not anything anymore of his destination. It's only saying that this bag was found without a tag. Northwest Airlines. Alright. So by then we nearly came to an end point of this video. We still have a few more rooms to check out. And then we explored this incredibly generous building as a whole. Oh, do you remember I found a photo of a man smoking a pipe? It's possible that it was exactly this same pipe, because it looks familiar. Where is he even still? A needle. That was definitely from the doctor. Whoa. And if we haven't found enough paintworks already in art, there is even more stored over here on the attic, the top level. Oh, it's so smelly over here. I don't know what the smell is coming from, but something is rotting over here, maybe some food. Dang. Oh, wow. That was a photo of the castle in its former glory. Have a look at it. And I guess this is one of the only family photos I found this far. So let's see. I see a man, a woman, another man, maybe with his woman. And then I see 5 sons and 2 daughters, I guess. I think that's the family that lived there in the very last days. Yet another room with so many books again. Also a globe over here. That's where they probably were searching what would be our next destination to travel to. I think there used to be some binoculars inside of this. Whoa! This is amazing. So, like I told you, he was a doctor. Still, his stethoscope was right over here. But that's not the only thing. There is also the blood pressure manometer with the manchette. Just amazing. And I think that this was his doctor's case. I don't think there is anything left inside anymore, but I just want to check it. Really, guys? So I thought I opened it, but no, there are still 2 locks on the sides and you need a key for it. But if I shake with it, it doesn't sound like there is still anything left inside anymore. So yeah, I just put it back. Let's show you the rest. That was a bummer. I was hoping maybe there was still some other medical equipment inside of Mr. Jean Denis, the doctor. There's many children books over here. Also some games over there, one game of Mickey Mouse. So there were definitely little children living here inside one day. Even some roller skates. So many magazines. Oh, this was from October 2008. So it is possible that the castle is already abandoned for 13 years now. Wow, even more clothes over here. So many. In this case, they should really be donated for a good cause and not just be left to waste. Okay guys, well, I think if I'm gonna open that door over there, probably gonna be shocked because I think there's plenty of pigeons inside. So be prepared for funny moments. Oh, he already flew out. so many pigeon droppings here. Not even gonna enter it, it's disgusting. You can clearly tell that this attic also definitely served for a lot of storage. They had so many clothes and they just want to get rid of all of them by storing them over here, making an efficient use of all their storage. Even so many gentle leather man shoes just left for rot and left to die. Oh, and a bunny doll. And then the very last room. Yes, we actually made it, guys. We explored this place as a whole. There's this tiny skateboard, definitely also from a child. And the decay on these floors is severe. Very, very advanced. One day, this was also a bedroom. But now, the ceilings are just literally falling down. All these bricks on the grounds. The mattress has been even taken out of this bed. And it's just in a very poor state of disrepair. So we made it out safely outside of this beautiful historical landmark in France. And this building absolutely, completely left me in awe. How can anyone just do not meet an agreement about any shares, about who gets what, and then inevitably something just is left to waste like this? I cannot get my mind straight around that, but all which is left for me to say is, if you enjoyed this video, and I can highly not doubt that you did not enjoy it, then please help me boost this video in YouTube's algorithm by leaving a big thumbs up. Also, you can subscribe for free down to our channel right down below. And yeah, I would love to hear your honest feedback and opinion in the comment section about how we can maybe improve these videos, or maybe some knowledge or information about any of the items I found. And then after all, I want to thank everybody much again. And yeah, best regards from the beautiful countryside of France. And we will see you with another banger next week. Peace out.